everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Unfilter. Now, this week we're joined by the Deaf Queen boss. It's Kellina. Hi, Kellina. Welcome to the show.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kellina Powell, aka the Deaf Queen Boss. I am an international speaker, coach, and author, and lastly, a motivational speaker as well. And what else am I? Okay, you guys, I'm done. That's it. Thank you.
We're just going to do a couple of quick fire questions. So the first one is, if you could trade lives with a character for a day, who would it be and why?
Oh, that's a really good question. I would say I would love to be Whitney Houston. If anybody's familiar, if anybody knows.
Next one, if you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would that be?
Oh, that would be so easy, everyone. It would be pasta.
You're the second person we've had to say pasta.
No way, really?
Yeah, I think it's quite a popular dish. I think because you can mix anything with it. It's very versatile.
Exactly.
Next one, if you could have a chat with one species of animal, what species of animal would it be?
A lion.
Oh, wow. What would you like to know?
I will honestly, the reason why I did that is because lion is so strong, and I want to ask them that question, like, how do you remain so strong? How are you able to catch any animal, you guys? So in my head, it's like, I want to be a lion. I want to talk to them. Like, how do you do it? What's your strength? So the powerfulness that the lion have, it definitely inspired me to talk to them.
What's the craziest thing you've seen on the internet lately?
On the internet, oh my God.
Got a lot to choose from.
Yeah, there's so many craziness. What are you talking about? Oh my God. I would say one craziness I've seen on the social media is Donald Trump is trying to partnership with Canada. Little do you guys know, I'm actually from Canada, Toronto, and a lot of Canadians are not happy with that suggestion. A lot of Canadians said, no, we would like to keep Canada separate from the United States. So that was something super crazy I ever witnessed in my entire life.
And the last one for this round, what would the title of your autobiography be?
I would say Deaf Queen Boss. I think that will be the title for me, honestly, because I'm a boss, I'm a queen, I love to get things done. I'm a boss woman, so that will definitely be my title.
That's a good transition. So, like you said, you are a deaf boss queen. So what is your story? Was you born deaf or did your hearing loss come on?
No, so I actually was born hearing. I actually became deaf at the age of 4 due to an ear infection. And so that would cause me to really, again, I don't know how would it called the ear infection. They never really say. I think they said I was playing with a lot of like water at daycare. I'm not too sure what happened, but I was doing a lot of activities in daycare. So that's how I got an ear infection.
And how did you find childhood after that coming on hearing?
So my childhood was very struggle. I had to learn how to communicate different because had a deaf person, you don't know how to communicate, especially a 4-year-old. It was a lot because I was being bullied a lot because due to my speech. So I did had a lot of speech delay while growing up. So it was very difficult for me to really have a flow out conversation without having to think about my words before it comes out. So like right now, I can speak without feeling nervous. Like before when I was younger, I was super nervous. And yeah, so like growing up it was difficult. I had to learn both sign language and speak verbal as well. And yeah, so that was my childhood. It was a struggle, but we made it through.
Obviously, during teenage years as well, when you like left school and stuff like that, getting jobs, how was it easy to get a job? Was you looked different upon by employers and stuff like that?
It was very difficult for both parties, to be honest, right? A lot of people don't know what to do when they hire someone who is deaf, especially in the workplace. They had difficulty advocating for me or even giving me accommodation. For example, I had one boss where I used to work at the grocery store. She didn't realize I was deaf because she was calling me across the store, and she asked me, like, oh, I called you across the store, like, you didn't hear me? And I said, no, I'm actually hard of hearing. I actually wear hearing aids. And she's like, oh, I didn't know that. so why did you not tell me during the interview? And I said, excuse me, I don't have to disclose that in my interview.
Exactly.
And that was something that I was like, you know what? And after I told her that, she treated me like garbage actually after I told her. And so I ended up quitting. It was very difficult. And obviously I did have doubt because I wasn't sure if I was capable of having a job after, right? So I was nervous to apply for a bunch of jobs. And I was applying for jobs that were, that like were a basic jobs, like cleaning jobs and stuff like that. I remember my family said, "Why are you hiring for a cleaning job? Like, why are you applying for that? You're very smart. Like, I have a degree and everything." And however, I would explain to them my concern, and it was very difficult. But my advice for teenagers who are listening, I would say, is that you know there's always going to be at least one person that's willing to accommodate you. You just never know who will the person be. You just have to keep going, believe in yourself. It will take a long time to believe in yourself because confidence doesn't take time. Like it takes a very long time. Like it really is a journey.
Also, being obviously a woman and a person of colour, have you found that hard as well to comprehend to where you are at?
Yeah, so I mean I'm 100% going to say I have seen process. I don't say like I'm 100%, but I've seen a lot of changes when I was growing up. I noticed that um people are more open minded now than back in 20. I feel
Yep,
like there has been a huge shift in inclusive equity, inclusion. There's a lot of huge shifts now. I feel like people are now focusing on that. As women of color, I do see progress. Sorry, I did a lot of progress, but I feel like there's still things that still need to be done. So there's
yep,
still work that needs to be done. It hasn't been always positive, but yes, it does impact on me, especially trying to get myself out there, especially when you're in an uncomfortable environment. And that's
yep.
something I noticed. I noticed some people will look at me and they're like, "Oh, like you're a woman of color and you're deaf. Like, how is that?" Like, they ask you uncomfortable question a lot of time, and they're like, "Why are you asking me this question? I deserve to be in this environment." And it's sad because some women of color have to prove themselves to other people, saying that I deserve to be here. And why right? And so I have seen that, I witnessed a lot of that. I haven't witnessed for myself personally, I have not been in a really bad space for me to say anything too much, but I have heard from other people. And I feel like a lot of times people don't want to take that path. People
No,
think that it is easy for us because we're disabled. And I was like, no, like we also have our own path that we have to do to tribute to you. And I feel like there's so many ways to go around different things, but people are not willing to learn what we have to do and how long it takes us to get there.
no, 100%. I don't know if you're got the same in Canada, but in the UK, British Sign Language is now classed as an actual language, so it can be taught in schools as a second language now. I don't know if that's the same across the world or.
It's not the same as across the world. A lot of people thought though. I said no. That's the American Sign Language. So that's
Yeah,
the one I know. And then there's the British Sign Language. Two complete way of signing. And I just wish that there were the sign language, same thing all over the world. Because sometimes when you're trying to meet new people, especially if communication is style number one, for a deaf person, it's not fair for us to not communicate with other country where we have to learn from a different country lifestyle or the country sign language. So
no, exactly. And as you said earlier, you got into motivational speaking. What was the process for that, and why did you decide to do that?
it was so honestly it happened by mistake. So I actually went to a networking event and I came across this lady. She was a teacher and she's like, "I would love for you to come speak to my student." So I looked confused and I said, "You want me to speak?" Like I was not thinking to be a speaker. I just went to a networking event with a friend of mine because she invited me. And so I was like, "Okay, cool, yeah." And so she said, "No, I noticed that you wear hearing aids." And I was like, "Wait, you know I wear hearing aids? Oh my God." She's saying the correct term to approach someone. So I was like, maybe she does know I am hard of hearing by looking at my hearing aid. And she's like, "I actually teach a lot of deaf and hard of hearing students. I would love for you to come and speak." And I said, "Oh my God, of course I would love to." And I didn't know because she didn't tell me that first. And I did the speech, and she connected me with so many people because I did an amazing job with the student, engaging with them, having the feedback, and making them feel comfortable and making them know that they're not alone in this world. And it was very fascinating to see these little kids put a smile on their face. And the teacher literally connected with so many people, and she's like, "You did an amazing job. I'm gonna connect with a bunch of people in my circle." And from there, the rest was history. Everybody reached out to me. I've been using my LinkedIn to build my portfolio and coming on different podcasts. It's really networking and meeting new people, speaking to different audience. So that's really how I got into the speaking. It was literally by accident. It wasn't something I want to do because, again, I was so nervous to talk a lot of times due to my speech delay, and I was like, "There's no way I could be a speaker." So yeah,
And by doing all this networking and stuff, what's one thing you've learned about yourself?
I am very bold. That's the one thing I learned about myself. I didn't realize how good I am with coming across my ideas because when you network with some people, sometimes you have conversation, but you don't truly really understand how it changed you. And that's something I learned about myself where I'm actually both with a lot of people. I'm actually have that confidence in myself to say, "Hey, I'm hard of hearing. You do need to accommodate me when we go on Zoom call." And that's something I realized. And I'm like, "Oh my God, I just told somebody to put the closed caption because I'm not comfortable saying that." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I actually did it. Oh my God, I'm proud of myself." Like, what? So, so I would like freak out. I was really nervous. Yeah, that's the one thing I learned about myself where I was very blurred with what I needed and how should I be accommodated.
So you said earlier on using author. Again, why did you decide to write a book, and what's the book about?
So before I started my book, I did my research and I asked a lot of hearing community, have you ever read a book by a deaf author? 90% of them said no. And one of my mentors came up to me. She said, "Kellina, you should write a book." And I said, "There's no way I could write a book because my English skills was not that good." And I used to fail English, to be honest with you guys. I would get like 50%, like just a passing grade. I was not good at English. My grammar, punctuation was so bad. And I couldn't do it. And the point where my family would edit my homework for me just to make sure, right? Because they know that this is one of my struggles I had growing up because I'm deaf. Had someone who's hard of hearing, typing in sentences in English and writing, it's not our strength. It's not. For some people, yes, but majority of us, it's not our strength. And so I decided to do a poem book because I want the reader to truly understand that they're not alone in this world. And that's why I chose to write my book. And also as well, there's not a lot of deaf authors out there anymore. And now there's so many. And I'm super thrilled to realize that when I first had my book out and then I started seeing different deaf authors, and I was so happy because people sees my work and he was like, "You know what, if Kellina can do it, I can do it." And that's the whole purpose of me doing my book and why I wrote my book in the first place.
And what's the title of the book, and where can people get it?
So the book is called Every Day I Am Just Deaf, and it's on Amazon. So you can find it all over the world. So don't worry, not just only Canada and America. You can find it anywhere.
And we'll make sure there's a link in the description to the book as well.
Thanks.
What advice would you give to members of the deaf communities that are worried and scared of the world ahead of them?
I would say that it's okay to have a bad day. I feel like a lot of us think we can have a perfect day, but we don't. It's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to separate yourself from people. It's okay to take a break. I feel like that's the very first thing. Number two, I would say is surround yourself with people who respect you and appreciate you. That's super important because if you do not have a strong circle, you will not succeed. And having that right support system is very important. That would be my advice.
And what advice would you give to the hearing community to help support people in the deaf community?
I would say always keep educating yourself. Don't be afraid to ask questions. For example, if you I get this question all the time. People always ask, like, "Kellina, how do I approach them without being offensive?" I
Yeah.
always say to them, it depends on your vocabulary and what term you're using. So I always say, by the way, For example, I give you guys an example. Hi there. Hi, Kellina. I noticed that you are hard of hearing, but can you please educate me on the deaf community? Because I'm not aware. So that's a great way to approach people. When you use that term, educate, you will definitely put the wall down between you and the person that you're trying to have conversation with. So that would be my advice for the hand community. Be mindful how you approach people. And number two, and continue educating yourself, learn the basic sign language. It's okay to learn basic sign language. It's so important to learn the basic because you never know what people come across, especially, for example, hospital. Hospital is a perfect example. Some people may be in the machine and they can't speak, but what other communication ways? Writing or sign language? And a lot of people don't realize that sign language can be impactful, especially when you can't speak, because you never know when disability will come to you because you're 1% of becoming disabled. You never know.
Exactly, and even so I work with young people with special educational needs. That's the field I'm in, and we learn basic sign language, and even to use it, I taught a couple of friends, and even like when you're in a nightclub and everyone's far away, you can give the sign for toilet. So you don't have to shout across everyone, I'm going to the toilet.
Exactly. And people don't realize that. And I'm like, even when you're at the club or even when you're at the doctor office, even when you're at Disney World and you're trying to ask them a question that's too loud, you can do sign language too.
Exactly. So I think it's just a good language just for everyone to use, really.
Exactly.
Well, Kellina, you're a very inspirational young lady. Where can people find you if they want to reach out to you more?
Yeah, for sure. Everybody can reach out to me on Instagram, Deaf Queen Boss, or my website, Kellina Empowerment Inc. And honestly, truly, guys, if you're trying to find me all over the platform in terms of social media, just type in Kellina Powell and you're going to see me everywhere.
Brilliant. Before we go, I've got a couple of would you rather questions if you like to play this game with us.
Yeah, for sure. I'm happy.
I got this game at Christmas and I've just pulled out 6 random cards, so I don't know what's on the cards. So
okay, love that.
Right, so we've got would you rather have toes for fingers or have everything smell bad for forever?
That's a good question. I think toes for fingers. I do not like smelling bad. I'll tell you guys that. I do not. I like my perfume, okay?
Do you reckon with our small toes and our though, you'd be able to sign with toes?
I'll be okay with toes. I'll be able to sign with toes.
Yeah, so you'll be able to sign. I don't know, because they're so short. To do sign language, I don't know if you'll be able to.
No.
It's a tricky one. Next one is, would you rather feel like you are sitting on pins every time you sit down or have roller skates for feet?
Roller skate for feet. Because I love roller skating. I don't know. Roller skating is my favorite thing. I love roller skating or skating. I love it. Anything with that, I love it. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm very unsteady on skates. So I think I just try not to sit down a lot and not have the roller skates. And the last ones are, would you rather get bitten by a dog every time you go outside or fight off 20 duck-sized unicorns every time you go to the restroom?
Unicorn to the restroom? I think I would get bite by a dog every time I go outside.
No, exactly. At least you can pick where you're being bit.
Exactly. Yeah, I can pick.
Well, like I said, it's been lovely speaking to you. Just before we go, I've got one last question, and this question I ask every guest. If you could be remembered for one word and one word only, what would it be?
Just one word? Just one word?
Yeah, just one word. Yeah.
Confident?
Brilliant.
Yeah, I think that would be because confidence is just a huge word for me, and it's always been my favorite word. It's just because I struggled that with myself when growing up. So I would for sure say confidence is my number one word, for sure.
Well, brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'd love for you to come back on anytime you want to.
Definitely. Thank you for having me.